Donald Trump recently hosted the authoritarian leader of Hungary, Viktor Orban, at his house. This is a really bad look, especially since we already know about Trump loving dictators and wanting to be one and wanting to do dictator things. And Republican Senator Lindsey Graham appeared on NBC's Meet the Press, and he was asked about the meeting, and he became completely out of his mind, coming unglued. These people don't like being asked real questions. They don't like taking responsibility for reality. So we're going to take a look at it. They played a video clip first for Lindsey of Trump talking about how great it is to have Viktor Orban at his house. And then Lindsey is asked, is this a good look? Trump cozying up to Orban when he wants us to believe he's not a dictator? And Lindsey doesn't like it. This is not the type of question Republicans want to be answering right now.
That's better, smarter, or a better leader than Viktor Orban. He's fantastic. As you know, the Prime Minister of Hungary, and does a great job. He's a non-controversial figure because he said this is the way it's going to be, and that's the end of it, right? He's the boss.
And again, that is Trump playing coy with being a dictator. She says this is how we'll do it, and we'll execute the drug dealers, quick trial, always guilty. That's it. It's simple. It's tough. It makes sense in some way. The way Orban says it is the way it is. Well, Trump would like that, wouldn't he?
Do you think Viktor Orban's leadership is something that Trump aspires to in a second term?
I think the best way to judge President Trump's second term is by what he did in his first term. Russia didn't invade on President Trump's watch. Hamas didn't try to destroy Israel on his watch. The Taliban weren't in charge on his watch. So here's what I would say. If you're worried about the world being on fire, you're right. If you think Joe Biden's policies are lack of deterrence and he's weakened the eyes of our enemies, you're right. So if you want to get the world back in order, you better vote for Trump.
But you know that former President Trump has talked about being a dictator on day one. He said it's nice to have a strong man running our country. He's talked about retribution in a second term, Senator.
You know what he said? Retribution would be success. Who knocked Trump off the ballot in Colorado? Who knocked Trump off the ballot in Maine? There's a liberal jihad against everything Trump.
Oh, boy, he is not pleased with this, is he?
I'm not worried about Trump destroying democracy. I'm worried about Joe Biden destroying the world.
Those were Republicans, and the Supreme Court has now put him back on the ballot.
But the point you're trying to ask me, is Trump bad for this country?
No.
I would say that Joe Biden's policies are bad for America.
How dare you ask about Trump cozying up to an authoritarian strongman? Can't you see, Kristen, that Biden's the real problem here, even if I can't actually assign blame to Biden for any of the things that I'm saying?
And have got the world on fire.
Senator, just be very clear, though, he is aligning himself with Viktor Orban,
who's a member of NATO, who just voted to let Sweden in.
Who has
Sweden in.
Reluctantly, though, but
Orban's not on the ballot. Let's have a debate.
He has rolled back Democratic norms.
Orban is not on the ballot. You got to vote between Trump and Biden. Biden has screwed the world up every way you can.
You know, I was reading a very interesting article. By the way, Lindsey's completely unhinged. I mean, he's just absolutely furious at this lie, at even having to defend this. How dare you put me in a position to even have to suggest that any cozying up to Orban is a problem, especially when Trump has made clear his dictatorial aspirations and authoritarian wet dreams that he seems to have every single night. I read a very interesting article, the premise of which is, a lot of people love to talk about Biden's been good domestically, but his foreign policy is kind of a mess. And the article, I wish I had it. It just occurred to me now that I read it over the weekend. The article made the point that Biden's foreign policy really hasn't actually been bad. A lot of the concerns about too much dependence on Chinese manufacturing has been alleviated through the Biden administration, incentivizing and as a result, moving more manufacturing to Mexico, for example. Now, some people are furious about that, but if you want to reduce your dependence on China without everything costing more, Mexico is certainly a reasonable place to look. That when it comes to Ukraine, we've gotten a relatively good deal in holding off authoritarian strongman Putin's takeover of Ukraine without boots on the ground. and with a very, very modest fraction of our military budget. That's been quite good. Biden has shown a commitment to the importance of international agreements and NATO, Sweden now part of NATO. The point is, the article rejected the idea that Biden's been good domestically but bad on foreign policy, and in fact has made the argument Biden's actually been kind of okay on foreign policy. Doesn't matter to folks like Lindsey. He's furious at having to even deal with these questions, and we know where his bread is buttered, for lack of a better term.